And this, people keep trying to buy the election.
Yeah.
Billionaire Elon Musk has gone all in for you know who, and now he's giving out $1 million a day to people who sign his super PAC's petition.
What?
Now, I thought that was against the law.
Because you're an idiot.
They've found some new loop stuff that allowed this to go. I thought you couldn't do this. What's happening?
Well, I think that's what you do when you have no plan for the public.
I'm sorry, I'm going to let it play out, and then I'm going to rage.
You have no economic plan that's going to benefit the middle class, when you have no plan to protect reproductive rights, when you have no plan to address climate change and produce American energy, you go to these type of tactics. It's all about distraction.
There's a concept of a plan.
Yeah.
Aren't these tactics against the law, though? Aren't you?
Well, I'll let the lawyers decide, but it sure, look, I think
Giving water away to voters and not against the law.
Isn't this the same thing?
No, because they're signing a petition, so you're technically not buying the vote. Frankly, there's nothing that can stop people from signing the petition, getting the $1 million, and then voting for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz.
Oh, looky who just. Oh,
do that.
Look, Ana Navarro actually said something smart, and Tim Walz is like, holy crap, I'm so dumb, even I didn't think of that. Tim, when you're on The View and you're not the smartest one, you've had a bad day, sir.
Make sure you're not putting yourself in a trick bag where they say, oh, by the way, you didn't read this little tiny print. Don't sign jack until you know what you're signing and how it's going to affect you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's absolutely the dumbest, most inane chatter on the face of the earth. But I want to go back here, just highlight something. Right here. There you go. That's the face of someone who could be president one day, right? Tim Walz would be lucky if he hosts The View after his political career. Hopefully is put. Well, I guess it's not going to be put to an end, even if he loses, because he'll still be a governor of Minnesota. My goodness, what a buffoon! What does it call? It's a cackle of buffoons. Oh God, look at that. There you go. I wouldn't buy a used car from that man. So here's the bottom line, people. Ana Navarro actually got it right. It's not buying a vote. I thought maybe it could potentially run afoul of lottery laws or sweepstake laws. Some states have sweepstakes. But the bottom line is these are a bunch of buffoons of the highest order, and worse than being buffoons. Now they want to talk about buying elections? Do these idiots not know about Zuckbucks? I think they probably don't. Do these idiots not know about George Soros financing, funding PACs, super PACs, political action committees? Do these idiots not know about... There was one more that I was going to go to with that. I forgot what it was. A bunch of outright hypocrites. Super PACs? Come on, there's one more that I was going with. George Soros financing super PACs. Oh, Act Blue. Do these idiots not know about Act Blue? I guarantee you they don't know about Act Blue. Act Blue, not arguably, but I say arguably, engaging in widespread money laundering and election fraud. James O'Keefe did an amazing expose, I think not once but twice, about how Act Blue basically processes microtransactions in the name of people who apparently don't make those donations themselves. And they're below certain thresholds where they don't have to be disclosed. And you can launder millions and millions of dollars through what is actual dark money, in that it comes from people who don't know that they're giving it, from people who are undisclosed donors. Now, though, what did she say here? What did she say? Oh, God, it's amazing. Now they want to talk about it being illegal to buy elections, which shows you exactly what they've been doing.
And this, people keep trying to buy the election.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, they do. They do. And thy name be George Soros, Zuckerberg, who's buying it through censorship. Holy cows. Good afternoon, everybody. Oh, and by the way, there was one other thing about that. We're going to come back to Elon Musk, but they keep trying to buy the election. There's nothing illegal about what Elon is doing, to the point where you got the Governor Josh Shapiro. You know, he'll find the crime. The whole point is it's a stupid question. It's laughable. Is it illegal? It doesn't make a difference. It doesn't need to be illegal for you to be convicted of it That we've seen via the Trump persecutions. And because it's illegal doesn't mean you're going to get convicted for it. That we've seen through the Sussman, Michael Sussman, DC lawyer, who charged the Hillary Clinton campaign when he met with the FBI to give them the bogus Steele dossier, then lied about it. Oh, the Steele dossier that was financed by the Clinton campaign and the DNC, the payment for which was disguised, and they were just slapped on the wrist with a little bit of a penalty. Donald Trump, for something that was paid not from campaign funds, gets convicted on 34 counts, 34 felony charges convicted. It doesn't need to be illegal for you to get convicted, and just because it's illegal doesn't mean you will get. All right, people. Good afternoon. How goes the battle? We're going to come back to hypocrisy galore throughout the day. We're going to talk about Laura Loomer's lawsuit against Bill Maher and HBO, which it's going to go nowhere. It's going to go nowhere, but I don't believe the lawsuit was filed for the purposes of winning. I believe it was filed for the purposes of speaking to the public, and therefore I shall do my part by highlighting this to the public. But first, before we get into anything, people, I've verified that we are live across all of the various planes of the interwebs. We are live on vivabarneslaw.locals.com. Good mic is on. Good video is on. And now I want to thank our sponsors. You are familiar with them because they are awesome, as are all of my sponsors. When we're speaking about corrupt governments, buying elections, rigging elections, allegedly, doing everything they can to change the rules and laws of regulations, control the flow of information, much like they described as to how they fortified the 2020 election, you realize that you can't rely on government. 60% of US adults have had their data hacked or exposed. That means if your data hasn't been hacked yet, you might be the lucky winner of the worst raffle ever. Our phones, laptops, they're like shady friends who share your secrets with everyone. They're basically homing beacons for big tech and corrupt government tracking. Trusting them with your data is like trusting Tim Walz. I was going to make a joke that I won't. You might as well believe in unicorns. That's why 5G Free's Faraday laptop and phone holders are here. They aren't just cases. They're like throwing your devices into a digital black hole. EMF radiation blocked. GPS tracking gone. Your data stays yours and your privacy stays off the grid where it belongs. The same folks who pushed Prism now want us to trust them with our data. We're not buying it. Head over to 5gfree.com. Promo code VIVA gets you 15% off. Keep the digital creepers off your devices. 5gfree.com, promo code VIVA will get you 15% off. And it's also a Rumble partner, by the way. Everybody should know that, and you should appreciate doing business with companies that value you as a customer. And the other one, drink it every morning. Drank it this morning. Leftover cup is right here. 1775 coffee, peeps. It's delicious. Did you know most creamers aren't even made with real cream or dairy? That's right. Why is my phone continually beeping? How many times? On mute you go. Geez, Louise. Your morning coffee is basically swamp of oils, sugars, thickeners, enough chemicals to make the FDA blush. By the way, if you've never looked at it, you should look at what's in, not half and half. Oh, I don't even know what the name of that creamer is, but the one that they always have at airports and hotels, it's gross. 1775 coffee protein creamer is good stuff. It's the stuff patriots choose. 10 grams of whey protein, no sugar, no fat, and under 50 calories. It's straight up American fuel for those who want to crush their day, not their health. Fasting, building muscle, preparing for the globalist agenda 2030. 1775 creamer has your back. And if you're serious about coffee, their new pod delivers the same single origin beans plus their brain boosting mushroom blend. It will have you sharper than Joe Biden on debate night. Go to 1775coffee.com, promo code VIVA for 15% off, and you will have mornings as bold as your beliefs. People, let's get on to this. Holy crab apples. All right. So they're dumping on Elon because they think they allege you don't have to do it for them to allege that you're doing it. They're alleging that he's buying election, that he's breaking the law, yada yada yada. We will not belabor the point of people are saying he's paying $40 to register people to vote. He wasn't even doing that. It's a very, I won't say deceitful. It's an interesting workaround, a loophole. It's not a loophole because he's not paying anybody to sign anything related to an election. It's a pledge. It's a petition to support First Amendment and Second Amendment rights. Why is it safe to say that you might have a political orientation of people who would sign a pledge to protect First and Second Amendment rights? Because by and large, they seem to be conservative, right-wing Republicans, libertarians, not tyrannical Democrats. And so they know what's baked into the equation by saying this is politically motivated. He's paying Republicans. Dumbasses. All you have to do is pledge to support First Amendment rights and Second Amendment rights, which you won't do, Democrats, because you are a bunch of filthy tyrants. And you want to rule with an iron fist or burn down the house, piss on the ashes, so you can rule over your piss-covered ashes. So he's not doing anything illegal. He's not buying votes. He's not buying registration. He is offering money for people to sign up a petition to pledge allegiance to support the First and Second Amendment. And he's offering $1 million a day to anybody who does that from now till election day. Pretty good. I wouldn't mind $1 million. What else are they accusing Elon Musk of? You'll notice the talking point of the day. There's a long video that I'm not going to play of Der Spiegel or a Spiegel. It's a German outlet. It's a German outlet, by the way. And if you Google my name, David Freiheit, Der Spiegel. I think I was in an article in it once upon a time. I'll look it up afterwards. Back in the day before I got political, I think I was in the newspaper Spiegel for something funny that I did with the family. They're comparing Trump, not Trump, to Hitler now, because they've already done that, and we've seen what happened after they did that for 5, 10 plus years. They are now comparing Elon Musk to Hitler, because after all, if I were going to make that argument and I could steel man that argument, I would go maybe along the lines of the eugenics argument that Elon wants, with the what's the thing there? Come on, the chip. With what he wants to talk about doing with, the chips and the humans to make them superhumans. Okay, maybe you could go with an argument that that's some form of eugenics. And, that's how you could make an argument. But by and large, the people comparing Trump, Elon to Hitler, but by and large, they're the ones who are much closer to Hitler than anybody else in policy and in practice. They call Trump Hitler. And they call Elon Musk Hitler. And oddly enough, if you look up to blackface Hitler up in Canada, Justin Trudeau, he is implementing actual policy that is much more in line with Hitler policies than anything Trump or Elon have ever espoused. And if you doubt that, by the way, Canada, euthanasia, Nazi era. And you're not quoting me, people, because I'm an extremist, right? I'm a nutcase, far-right extremist using hyperbolic rhetoric. No, this is an article in Forbes. When we want to talk about who's accusing who of being Hitler and who is actually implementing Nazi-era, Nazi-level policies, well, if I can get past the ads on this awful thing. From Forbes, it's a while back, but I'll never forget this article. Canada's new euthanasia laws carry upsetting Nazi-era echoes, warns expert. All right. Well, they're accusing Elon Musk of being Nazi, being a Hitler, because, I don't know, he supports free speech. He supports Donald Trump, so he's Hitler adjacent. And the line of attack today is back to Elon joking about, I'm not going to say the words because someone can supercut or just take a cut and then say Viva said something stupid. I say, making these jokes, even if they are bona fide jokes, saying certain words, you put the juju out in the universe. And we're living in a world now where you don't have to have committed a crime to get arrested and convicted. You sure as hell don't even have to have said the statement in order for you to get demonized for having said it. You don't make certain types of jokes. You don't make certain types of statements, even in jest. But they are making the claim that Elon Musk laughed, joked about assassination of Kamala Harris. And that's, that's, hold on. There was a woman on Twitter who put out the tweet. You say, hear me out. How dare he say these things? The theme of hypocrisy will run rampant today. There we go. Let's see. We have to go down the Twitter rabbit hole on this one. So we got Melanie Darigo, who is, I don't know what this is. Ex-director NYH campaign. I don't know what that is. Doesn't matter. Melanie Darigo tweets out, hear me out. Maybe the guy who repeatedly jokes about assassinating the vice president shouldn't have national security clearance and be receiving over $15 billion in government contracts. The power lies in the accusation. What's baked into this affirmation? That not only did Elon Musk joke about an assassination, which he didn't, we're going to get to that in a second, that he repeatedly did it. And maybe the guy who repeatedly jokes about assassinating the vice president shouldn't have national security. All right, and then we got who's she quoting? Oh, she's quoting the Rolling Stones, who have been behind such defamatory lies that have ruined lives as the Duke Lacrosse story, among others. Rolling Stone is not fit to wipe my butt if it were actual print. It's not fit to wipe a picture, a digital picture of my butt if it's on digital print. They are scumbags and liars of the highest order. And what does it say about someone? We're going to get into trust in mass media when they quote scumbags and liars to come to fallacious, dishonest, disingenuous conclusions that they reaffirm as a matter of fact in order to demonize somebody in a way that could have real-world repercussions. If you want to talk about, words online having real-world repercussions, accusing someone of having repeatedly joked about ending the life of a political candidate can have real-world consequences. Rolling Stone. Elon Musk jokes in a church about someone killing Kamala Harris. Assassinating a puppet is pointless, the Trump-backed billionaire said in a Saturday church appearance. I don't have the church video for that, but I'm going to get to another one. And I said, just sit here. Before anybody has any obligation to hear you out, you have an obligation to actually listen to what Musk said. Did you listen to what Elon Musk said? Based on your ignorant tweets? I don't think you heard. Maybe she wanted to listen but didn't hear what he said. And if you did hear it, you still tweeted that, you are a liar. It's what he said in front of the church. I couldn't find the actual clip, and it's irrelevant because it's an iteration of what he said on Tucker Carlson, which I'm sure all of us have seen. If you haven't seen it, it's a great interview of Elon on Tucker. If you haven't seen Harmeet Dillon on Tucker Carlson talking about Kamala Harris's illustrious rise to power, check that out as well. But it's a minute and a half. Let's listen to this so that people can fully appreciate what he said. I left the last section in because it was a fantastic assessment of Trump's mental state to, be up and about without any visible psychological trauma after nearly being murdered. You want to talk about actual assassination attempts, nearly having his head blown off on live television in 4K at 8,000 frames per second. Listen to this.
Well, the Kamala puppet, I call it. The machine that the Kamala puppet represents.
Yeah, she's irrelevant. I mean, she's
Yes.
not even.
No. I made a joke which I realized I deleted, which is like nobody's even bothering to try to kill Kamala because it's pointless. What do you achieve? Nothing.
No, it's totally
Just find
right.
another puppet.
Now here, let's pause it there. Is that a joke about harming someone, or is that a joke actually about not harming somebody? And I'm not trying to be like the lawyer wordsmith of the devil here. I don't think anybody can listen to this. And although Elon uses the term joke, the joke here is not about ending someone's life. It's about the pointlessness of it, which is not a call to it. It's actually an affirmation that I won't even say it's an affirmation of to not do it, because people on the right don't need to hear "don't kill your political rivals." Apparently, people on the left need to actually hear that and understand it. It's not a joke about the harm. It's a joke about the insanity as to the pointlessness of it, which is actually quite the opposite. But everybody watching has half a brain. It's above average and already knew that.
That's
It's no point in
it's
killing.
deep and true, though.
Nobody's trying to kill Joe Biden.
It's in,
It
oh,
would be
bless you.
pointless.
Totally. You actually put that up?
I like
Now,
Tucker.
some people interpreted it as though I was calling for people to
Tucker's like, you actually put that up, dude. Don't you understand how social media works? I mean, you own one of the largest social media companies on earth, and yet you still don't know how that works. Like if you say something quoting someone in order to say that they're wrong, they'll snip that, and then they'll just make a meme that it's you saying it.
assassinator. But I was like, no, even I was like, doesn't it seem strange that no one's even bothered to try?
He's
not
got a
worth
good
it.
laugh.
I mean,
There's an endless supply.
yeah, like nobody would. It's absurd.
It
Like,
could be anybody.
Yeah. Nobody's gonna try to. Nobody tries to assassinate a puppet.
Of course not.
But
a
it
Marion.
is a very interesting thing that he just says right
No.
there. And Barnes has talked about it a lot during the Sunday shows, and it's kind of an astute observation. Everybody who's already come to this realization, say this is not a cliche, but an oldie. They only try to kill the revolutionaries. They only try to kill the people who are actually, the populist revolutionaries who are actually changing the world. Nobody goes to. I mean, maybe in some realm of the universe, competitors, try to kill each other. So I don't know if somebody really wanted to be president, like LBJ, and somebody was really standing in his way, like JFK. So that maybe there, but even then, JFK was a revolutionary, a populist revolutionary. Unless I've misunderstood history. Let's finish.
Yeah,
this.
marionette. It's just like,
That's hilarious.
It's not. It's not.
What? She's safe. Like, I like to try to kill Trump twice with actual guns and bullets.
Oh yeah.
You shot in the air right in fucking Butler where I was, and
He doesn't seem rattled. It's weird.
The composition of an
Doesn't he,
ox.
it doesn't seem what?
Rattled.
He has the constitution of an ox.
He's got the constitution of an ox. It's so that's what Elon Musk said, and he's 1000% right. Let me back that up a little bit. He's about 98% right. Nobody would have an interest in, like, there's no point in doing it. He obviously, from a sensible political perspective of people who respect the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, other people's constitutional rights, that's not how politics is done. That's how it's done when you are a frothing at the mouth, taking a selfie of your middle finger to the rest of people who didn't vote like you person. That's how you think, But he's wrong on one aspect of this. I talked about it with Alex Jones, and in the darkest of black pills in my mind, where the evil of humans cannot be overstated. The evil of some humans cannot be overstated. There's an entity that could have an interest in doing harm to Kamala, and that would be the deep state, if they thought that could somehow allow them to steal this election. If it were a book, seeing the way things are going right now, Kamala's unelectable. And if you're the deep state and you really don't want to lose this election, you have a potential interest in doing something absolutely atrocious, so that you can then garner a sympathy vote, blame it on far-right extremists who are acting out of reprisal for what was attempted on Trump twice. And then you can lock down elections. You can shut down voting booths. You can digitize it if you have to. In the name of security, you can run with a sympathy campaign and replace a wildly unpopular candidate with someone who might be more palatable. The deep state, which is evil beyond words, might have an interest. Peace-loving people, is it red-blooded or blue-blooded Americans? True Americans? It's what would be the point? Oh yeah, great. It'll be Kamala. It'll be Biden. Well, what we've seen right now is it doesn't matter who is the candidate. It's fill in the blank, so long as they play ball with the uniparty deep state apparatus. But I think everybody who stabbed Joe Biden in the back might be regretting it right now. The markets, I have never seen them as wildly out of whack. Let me just go see it. Percentage-wise, I've been tracking this. Percentage-wise now on my predictions, which are basically states going to Republicans and Trump winning and Biden withdrawing, I'm up 42%. At one point, I was down like 3 or 5% because I think I got in right when I believed the markets were wildly overvaluing Kamala and undervaluing Trump. But I've never seen the markets as high as they are right now. What does it mean? I think it means that people who are betting with their actual money are coming to the realization that the honeymoon is over, Kamala. But that is where the world is coming to right now. People have seen Kamala for what she is. I should say who she is. If I don't objectify her. Who she is, an idiot. What she is, an idiot. They've seen Tampon Tim for what he is, an abject idiot. They've seen the capital D Democrat Party for what it is, a cabal of tyrannical suppressors of constitutional rights, period. And I'm thinking about, I put out my prediction. I went biking yesterday, by the way. My knee is wildly painful, but if I go straight line and don't do anything funny, I can at least get my heart rate up. And I go out and I see a freaking rainbow. I see it tip to tip. Then I see a massive gator that crawls in the water after me. And I got back on the bike. And I had the revelation. I don't think there's going to be many more votes, but I think there's actually going to be slightly less votes, or give or take, than 2020. But you have to account for the shift that's going to happen now with RFK aligning with Trump, Tulsi Gabbard aligning with Trump, people opening their flipping eyes and understanding what the capital D Democrat Party has become. An un-American, anti-democratic, fascistic party that runs around calling Trump Hitler. So I think what's going to happen, I put my bet out there, 78 million and change for the popular vote to Trump and 76 million and change for the popular vote for Kamala. And yes, I know that is wildly the underdog bet to make because, yes, it's like, the popular vote includes California and New York, which blindly, cultishly votes blue. But I'm going with the long shot that Trump is actually going to win the popular vote, make this a gosh-forsaken landslide so that nobody can complain about the results. And even the naysayers who said Trump is Hitler, when Trump gets up there and gives his unification speech, those who didn't break the law, we will move on together. Those who broke the law, we will investigate and we will put you behind bars. Anthony Fauci, I'm looking at you, and members of the intelligence community who colluded since 2016 to keep Trump out of office and then try to put him in jail and then try to put him in the ground. Yes, you might be going to jail. Was there anything else? No, that's good on that now. I saw a Crumble rant from Rumble. Leftists want to use the U.S. Constitution as teepee, and it shows. And it teepee for me bunghole. If anybody's ever watched Beavis and Butthead, they don't even want to use it for teepee. They want to burn it. They want to burn it like they burn the flag. And then if you burn the transgender flag, then you go to jail. Burn the American flag, you're a hero. Burn the trans flag, you are a villain guilty of hate crimes. And I saw over in CommieTube, pooping while standing says churches used to lose their tax-exempt status. That is a random username, and I think I understand the context of the comment. But we're not anywhere near done with the hypocrisy of the left. Let me see what's going on in our vivabarneslaw.locals.com community. Stu P. Dossel says it's not New York State, it's the city that votes blue. Yeah, the city's got what, 10 million people in it? That might have been a very, very stupid estimate. Hold on one second. New York City population. Okay, 8.2 million. Oh my goodness. As of July 2023, New York City estimated at 8.26 million, a decrease of 78,000 from the previous year. I wonder why. I can tell you based on the amount of New Yorkers I meet in Florida, so long as they come down loving the freedom and not bringing down their own failed policy from New York, everyone will get along. And thus far, that's more often than not what I'm seeing. And I wonder if the illegal element might allow me to claim victory. That is, but look, it's 8.5 million, give or take, a little over 8 million. That's a big ass city. And then the population of the states is 19 million. So New York is about a little under half of the states. That's amazing. They want the Electoral College eliminated so they can run the country the way cities control states. It's an amazing thing. They've seen how it works. LA governs California, or LA, San Francisco governs California, and they want New York to govern New York as it does, and they want New York and LA to govern America. All right, on the subject of amazing hypocrisy. Which one do I go to now? Let's go to. Oh yeah. So there's so many. Let's go to Fetterman. No, that's not. The hypocrisy. You heard the joke. I had to go read the actual statement that Trump made about Arnold Palmer's putter. Look. Donald Trump at an event, or I don't know where he was, made a joke about Arnold Palmer being well endowed. Said like basically, everybody who came out of the shower was like, "Wow." Okay, I'll be the first to admit I have a childish sense of humor. I also am particularly conscientious about not making certain types of juvenile jokes in public. I also occasionally have lapses of that rule of not making juvenile jokes in public. Much like, remember when the time I showed you this potato? Because my wife came back from the grocery and she had this potato. And I was like, oh, I see one potato come into the house. And I'm like, why'd you get this potato? Oh, shitballs. Oh, well, now we got to cook it. Oh. I was like, why'd you get one potato? And I'm like, oh, yeah, you got this one potato because you know darn well if I were at that grocery store, I would have gotten this potato. And I was going to make the joke a while back, and I think I did. Look, it looks like a butt cheek. Then I had it out the other day, and I was like, after we had it for an extended period of time, and you notice they start to grow these, the spuds. And I was going to make a joke the other day. I was like, oh, look, now it looks like the butt cheek is growing, whatever that looks like. And like, no, Viva, don't do that. That's too childish. Someone's going to clip that and, have a screen grab of you holding a potato that looks like an ass. And And they'll make fun of you. And look what I just did now. Bada bing, bada boom. Trump makes a joke about Arnold Palmer coming out of the shower. Hey, it's a joke. I can see how some people maybe don't do that when you're on the presidential campaign. Maybe Trump, who doesn't seem to make very many unforced errors, has his own reasons for doing it. I did actually read a couple of pieces saying that there was a, appealing to the man vote element of that statement, and that it wasn't an accident. It might have been a 4D or 5D level accident. Whatever. The left is throwing conniption fits like he just ran over a puppy in a parking lot. It's so disgusting. How dare Donald Trump make a penis joke? I mean, they never do that. How dare Donald Trump make a penis joke? Does everybody remember this from the DNC? By the way, look at the faces. What are they laughing at? What are they so flipping happy about? I can tell you what they're laughing about. Obama making a penis joke.
This weird obsession with crowd sizes. This weird obsession with crowd sizes.
Now, part of me, to Steelman, it was saying maybe he's making a joke of what Trump does with his hands, playing the accordion. But that wouldn't explain his. What a great actor, by the way. He's taking stand-up lessons?
This weird obsession with crowd sizes.
It's a penis joke, people. Now, I happen to think it's not funny, not because it's a penis joke, but because the only ones who are obsessed with crowd sizes are the freaking Democrats. Remember when Kamala Harris shouts down the Catholic who said Jesus is Lord? Oh, I think you want to go to the other one down the smaller one down the street. The only people obsessed with crowd sizes in this election campaign are Kamala Harris and the Democrats. Why? Because they know what's going on at their rallies and they feel insecure about it, so they need to make the "me think the lady doth protest too much" joke. Confession through projection. But look, everybody makes penis jokes. That's what life is about. Now I'm going to get that clipped out. Everybody makes penis jokes. Make it a quote. Viva Fry. Everybody makes penis jokes. And I wanted to just highlight that. Like that was before the Donald Trump joke. So nobody can say it was a reference to it. What else? Double standards. Here you got John Fetterman, who seems to have re-lost his mind, I guess. There was a time when John Fetterman, I wonder if I were ever able to ask him a question that he would answer. Let me bring this up for a second. I would ask John Fetterman, how does it feel to be a member of a party that used and abused you simply because they needed a warm body in a seat to run against Dr. Oz? How does it feel that you were exploited? And I've said this time and time again. The Democrat Party is a party of elder abuse with Joe Biden, child exploitation with Greta Thunberg, and exploitation of those who are mentally unwell. And I say this to John Fetterman because now it's become known fact that he was clinically depressed. He had survived a stroke, was clearly going through a number of issues that warranted him being in rest and recovery, not being exploited for political profit because they needed anybody to, and I mean like literally any physical warm body to run against Oz. And so they exploited John Fetterman at his most vulnerable. I want to ask him, how does it feel to be now loyal to a party that exploited you at a time of your own weakness? For a while there, he was like, pushing back on the border, pushing back a little bit with Israel. Although, I mean, look, I can understand people take issue with his politics on Israel. For a while, he was pushing back against the party, and now he's gone full Fetterman. Let me just by the way, I said this yesterday, and then my father, who says, Viva, why do you swear so much on Twitter? And I was like, Dad, first of all, I don't need to not swear in order to get vilified. They're gonna vilify no matter what. They're gonna vilify and shut you up and shut you down and debank you and deplatform you, even if you remain polite, and no one's gonna hear the message. So I said, with that now amazing picture of Trump sticking his, waving out the window of the McDonald's. First, everyone wants to depict that guy as Hitler. He looked like, the jovial grandfather that everybody always wished they had. And I said on Twitter, I said, if you look at this picture and this picture elicits anger from you, you are the asshole. And understand that, digest it, and reflect on it. All right, this is the video.
Minimum wage should be raised. Well, I think these people work hard. They're great. And I just saw something, a process that's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing to see. These are great franchises and produce a lot of jobs, and it's great. And great people working here, too.
But minimum wage is
Really
recently
good
increased.
So, yes, ma'am.
Minimum wage should be raised.
Well, I think these people work hard. They're great.
I think these people
And
work
I just
hard.
saw
They're
something.
great. Let me see who the tweeter is. Okay, Rapid Response Advisor Kamala Harris. Oh, well, now I get it. And then you got a Ukrainian flag. I think that's a Ukrainian flag, strength in numbers. Okay, so James Singer, the guy who posted with the comment, Trump asked multiple times if minimum should be raised, refused to support it. Do these idiots not understand there's an argument against raising the minimum wage? There's an argument for it, and there's an argument against it. And you're not Hitler if you don't think you should raise the minimum wage, because dumbass, jackass James Singer, what do you think happens when you raise the minimum wage? Do you think the companies say, well, I guess we're going to make less profit this year? The execs say, well, I guess I'm going to have to take a bit of a pay cut. No, you moron. What they do is they pass the cost down onto the consumer by raising prices. So look, you might make the argument, okay, we can raise the minimum wage to $20. For the next 2 years, we might not see that cost factored into the product, but you will see it. And it's not a good versus evil situation here, like, I don't know, third trimester abortion type thing. But whatever. All right. He asked multiple times. He wouldn't confirm if he should raise the minimum wage. All right. Trump doesn't care about workers. He cares about himself. Thanks for the confession through projection here. But set that aside. John Fetterman chimes in utter stupidity. I mean, it's not even a good joke for a couple of reasons. Think about where those hands have been before you eat those fries. That's a good one, John Fetterman. Did you see the video of him making the fries? Because I guess you didn't, because you're one of those idiots that comments without having seen it. Nobody touched the fries with their hands. So first things first, as a matter of fact, your joke is stupid because it's not based in fact. Second thing, a lot of people would say, think about where those fries have been before you eat those fries, not in terms of a hand, but in terms of just, general food quality from fast food chains. The ultimate hilarious joke, which I had to make. And yes. Did I? Well, hold on. I don't have it. I got to get it, because if I just say it out loud, I'll look too crass. I said, do you hear the dog? Make that dog stop whining. I have to get it's a joke that requires the image. Like the dog eats and eats, and when she doesn't eat, she whines. Scrolling through my Twitter feed, which has become a diary, a bookmark, a catalog of the society descent into madness. Here we go. I reply to Fetterman. I say, think about where Kamala's mouth has been before you listen to another horrifying cackle. Shall we do Emhoff as well? You see how this works, Fetterman? You're an idiot. Emhoff got Nanny pregnant during first marriage. Look at that freaking face. Oh my God, this is what Seth Rogen has to look forward to if he doesn't shape up his act in life. Yeah, let's do this and take it all the way down the line, shall we? I'm not going to do the horse joke with Tim Walz because it's not true. It's a stupid joke, like the couch joke with J.D. Vance. But let's do Kamala Harris. Let's do a nanny banging Doug Emhoff, shall we? Hypocrites, people. Okay. There was more. We're almost done with the hypocrisy of the Democrats. What did I have here? Okay, no, this was that was one of the other takes about Elon talking about Kamala Harris. Okay, we got to this one. I think we're going to get to the faith in the media. Look at this. Chris Kalitza. If you don't know who Chris Kalitza is, I'm fairly certain this is the same Chris Kalitza who used to write for CNN. Like these op-ed pieces, which were the most propagandist pieces of rubbish you could possibly imagine. Yeah, he was at CNN from 2017 to 2022. Writing, he looks like Jeremy Piven, which kind of makes me want to like him, but now I don't like him anymore. He writes, devastating, and a massive problem for a healthy democracy. And it's an article or a graph from a Gallup poll. And it says partisans trust in mass media 72 to 2024. And here we see, it's an amazing thing. 54% of Democrats still trust the media. What's amazing, actually, we're going to look at this chart in a second here. It says, in general, how much trust and confidence do you have in the mass media, such as newspapers, TV, and radio, when it comes to reporting the news fully, accurately, and fairly? A great deal, a fair amount, not very much, or none at all. And I think what we're looking at here is a great deal, a fair amount. What's absolutely amazing is the section around 2016, when it became anti-Trump 24/7. If you right up until it's actually fascinating. Right up until 2016, it's following roughly the same trend, downward. Let me see if we're looking at the same thing yeah, we are, good. Following it downward until 2016. Look what happens in 2016. The more vitriolic and the more anti-Trump the media got, the more the Democrats had trust in it. It looks like it almost bounced up to 80%. The more anti-Trump and vitriolic against Trump it got, the less faith Republicans had in it. And this, you could see something, I think the same bump in independence. That is the interesting thing about this statistic that Chris Kalitza has missed. The other interesting thing about this that Chris has missed, because he's an idiot, is you imagine saying not trusting someone is the problem. Not the fact that they've been cheating on you. It's like the cheating husband saying to his wife, it's a big problem that you don't trust me. No, dumbass. The big problem is that you've been cheating on me, which is why I don't trust you, not that I don't trust you. And I said, first of all, run that chart in terms of alternative media, you know, the Vivas of the world, the Quarterings of the world, the Tim Pools, the Dan Bonginos, if we want to get to the big guys. And I guarantee you that chart would be the exact inverse. Hold on. Come on. Hello. It would be the exact inverse, but I bet you that there would be more trust in alternative media than there is in mass media. And so I, humorously tweeted to Kalitza, the problem is not that nobody trusts the mass media. The problem is that the mass media lies day in and day out, and that they have gone from being the government watchdogs to being the government lapdogs. You got CBS becoming, I call it a political action committee for the Kamala Harris campaign. I went over their response yesterday. But I mean, this is what the CBS 60 Minutes, the cornerstone of media, the cornerstone of news. Sunday night, I remember we used to sit down as a family. It was either 7 to 8 or 6 to 7 or Sunday nights after The Simpsons. And we used to watch that crap. And they have now been, found guilty. They've admitted to it, editing responses for Kamala Harris while simultaneously refusing to release the full video. Oh, the problem is that you don't trust the liars, according to Chris Kalitza. No, the problem is that you're goddamn liars and you don't deserve trust, and that you have eviscerated the public's trust in an institution that they relied on in order to get information. First of all, thank you very much, Chris, because but for your jackassery, the likes of me would never have found a role in this world, at least this particular role in this world. This was just from a Fox News article, which is, no better than anything. But Fox News contributor Joe Concha noted that it took 14 days for CBS News to put out a statement on the stealth, discreet, deceptive edit from the Kamala Harris campaign interview that they did. And you may recall they asked her something about Israel. She went into a diarrhea salad of nonsensical response, which basically only illustrated the fact that nobody in the world is listening to America anymore because it's a captainless ship. This statement from 60 Minutes issued is absolutely meaningless, Concha said on Monday, Fox Friends. And first, the only resolution here is for the program to release the full transcript, release the hounds, release the interview in its entirety from start to finish. But the network won't do that, Concha continued. You know why they won't do that? Concha believes there are two reasons they won't oblige. Bottom line, it'll show the degree to which they edited it, and it'll show how bad everything else was that she said during that interview. You imagine if they edited it to make her look good, and that's what they were able to do? How bad must the original unedited entire video be? Diarrhea is what it is. let's go over to the Rumble chat for a second and just see what's going on in there. Trust is easily given, but once broken, extremely hard to repair. Pop vet. I forget who said it. I don't want to steal the analogy. Probably wasn't theirs to begin with, but it's like a vase, a nice, beautiful, smooth vase. If it breaks, you can put it back together and you can glue it seamlessly so that it's smooth on the surface, but you will always see the cracks where it broke. That is what broken trust is. And it's like not to be holier than thou, and there's no but to it. It's the exact reason for which when I make a mistake, I try to put the mistake or the correction on bigger blast than the mistake. It doesn't happen very often. I get factual stuff incorrect and I make a mistake on a tweet that I thought was authentic, and then I still on an apology tour for that. What was her name? It was a Doc Solnat, I think, out of Florida, where Rogan had referenced that tweet that, she took the jab, and even if it caused myocarditis, she'd do it again because anti-vaxxers are coming from a place of selfishness. Yeah. And she blocked me. Couldn't verify it was true. I took that to mean it was true, and I still feel bad about that. But mistakes are different than bad judgment, and mistakes are different than dishonesty. Once people know that you are gosh-forsaken liars, put that vase back together again. We will always all still see the cracks. And you're never going to be able to resell that vase just from personal experience. But another element of hypocrisy, people. Anna Navarro Cardenas. Well, she was smart. She was the smartest one at the table, at least of The View. Smarter than Tim Walz. That's saying much. CNN, The View. What does she have to say? Look at this. They all love. Apparently, they're all racist now. By the way, and why do I say that? Anna Navarro Cardenas. Who can look at this picture and hate the guy? Oh, you're humanizing. I can see that, that chick that was screaming at the sky at the inauguration. You're humanizing Hitler. Or just throwing this out there, he was never Hitler in any way, shape, or form, trajectory, distance, likeness, whatever, and you were just duped. Maybe. No. Does McDonald's hire convicted felons? You know what's amazing about this? Barnes and I talked about it. I read this, I'm like, oh, so you're no longer a fan of criminal justice reform, you filthy, principleless, hypocrite, tyrant, fascist Democrats. That's what you are. So all of a sudden, you don't support criminal justice reform. So let's just the parties switched again, and all of a sudden, you espouse racist policy. And I had to not temper, but I had to draft my response in a way that no one would accuse me of racism. Because some people would say, oh, if you think felon and you think race, well, that makes you a racist. I'm almost inclined to agree with that line of reasoning. If someone says felon and then you think statistically black, I would say that shows a bit of a reflex in you. Wouldn't call it racist, but some people would. And the very same people who would accuse someone else of it, had they said it, are the ones doing it right now. Now, why do I remember this? Because Barnes and I talked about one of these lawsuits. It was against Sheetz in particular, which is also kind of funny because Kamala Harris was in there, who was found to have discriminated in their employment policies because they discriminated against felons. Remember, they didn't want to hire felons. And so it was I don't know if it's the EEOC that took the action, but we covered the lawsuit. We covered the order that it was racist to discriminate against felons because it had a disparate impact on blacks. This is the article. Sheetz across-the-board policy to not hire convicted criminals violates Title VII, which prohibits facially neutral employment practices that cause a discriminatory impact because of race when these practices are not job-related and consistent with business necessity, or where alternative practices with less discriminatory impact are available, says the EEOC. It's the Equal Employment Opportunity Committee. Checking on job seekers' criminal pasts led to 15.4% of black job applicants being turned away by Sheetz locations, compared to under 8% of whites. According to the EEOC, roughly 13% of multiracial and Native American applicants were turned away by Sheetz due to criminal past. Now, some people are going to say that's because they have more criminal pasts statistically. Others are going to say that's because they get convicted more because the system is racist. Others are going to say, why would it be relevant for a job employment at Sheetz? Others are going to say, why would I hire someone who is convicted of theft if I'm going to ask them to, work at a retail store? I can have this argument with myself all day long. The bottom line, EEOC says screening out criminals, job applicants, is racist. which means that Ana Navarra Cardonas is racist, is espousing policies that are contrary to criminal justice reform and racist. And I don't care that she would say, I can't be racist, I'm Latina. I don't care. Everybody can be racist. Bullshit. Racism is prejudice plus power. Kiss my ass. Racism is treating an individual differently because of how you view a demographic. Also, racism, apparently, these are your rules, not mine, Anna, is not hiring people because they're felons. Congratulations. You're racist, Anna. How does it feel? Hypocrite. I remember when you could smoke in McDonald's, says Kendra T FF Wave. I remember when you smoked on airplanes and they had non-smoking sections on airplanes. When did they outlaw? I mean, I know that I've had this memory. When did smoking on airplanes stop? 84, I'm going to say. 88. 90 and 2000. Okay. 88. That's I'm well within my memory to remember that. I was nine years old. Trump wasn't hired at McDonald's as Harbinger 21. Yeah, set aside the minor details. He wasn't hired by McDonald's, but he still got more McDonald's work experience than Kamala Harris. Oh, Landshark 503. I remember when you could carry guns on planes. Well, I can tell you one thing. Coming from Canada, I never remember that being the case. And now going over to our vivabarneslaw.locals.coms. USA Now says, damn, 88, late 1900s. And then if I go up to Tara Trite says, the standard should have been applied to Biden. I don't know what that is. We've got, oh gosh. We've got a tip over here from our tipped section. Hold on a second. Boopsy says, RFK Jr. could make them stop using seed oils and make them change their oil every few hours to make it healthier. To offset any price increase, we could get rid of mandatory minimum wage and or give incentives with tax credits for more robots. Yeah, I don't know about the seed oil thing. I know people are flipping out about that, but I should probably look into that at one point. I think we've covered the Democrat hypocrisy. Have I? Oh, no, I haven't. I talked about it yesterday very briefly because the news broke while we were live yesterday that the Biden administration announces additional security assistance for Ukraine. Today, Department of Defense announced additional security assistance to meet Ukraine's critical security and defense needs. This announcement is the Biden administration's 68th tranche of equipment to be provided from the Department of Defense inventories for Ukraine since August 2021. President yada yada, the package, they call it the President Drawdown Authority Package. It's like it's literally like from The Simpsons, where like we can call it the colossal tax grab. No, I need a name that disguises what we're doing. The Presidential Drawdown Authority, which has an estimated value of $400 million, will provide Ukraine additional capabilities to meet its most urgent needs, including munitions, mortar systems. They've got to find a way to fund murder. Capabilities in this include a bunch of stuff. Ammunitions. The United States will continue to work with some 50 allies and partners through Ukraine. Defense Contact Group, yada, 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 to meet Ukraine's urgently needed battlefield requirements and defend against Russian aggression. So that news broke yesterday. And the news that also broke yesterday is we need more. Give me more. Biden's new $400 million Ukraine package, not enough. Ex-CIA director. Former director of the Central Intelligence Agency has said that the Biden administration's latest package in support of Ukraine is not enough to prevent Vladimir Putin from making advances. You know what you should probably think of doing? Oh, we don't negotiate with Hitler. No. We're no longer into diplomacy. We're now just into sending hundreds of thousands of people to the slaughter, but they're not our kids yet. And if you don't continue funding it, it might be your kids. If we're listening to Chuck Schumer, Petraeus said they need more than 400 million. Yada yada yada. And so I had a bit of a tiff with someone on Twitter yesterday who's accused me of taking money from Russia. That's the classic go-to. Oh, you Putin Russia shill. It's not money, it's arms, and it's good for Americans because it creates jobs. I'm like, oh, the Ukrainian flag in your bio is evidence of your superficial thinking. At least they got one person to buy into the talking point. There was one guy, I forget who said it. It's good for the economy, these aid packages, because yeah, it's true. We're sending them hundreds of billions of dollars worth of aid, whatever. But it's munitions, it's equipment, it's built in America. So it's creating American jobs to kill people abroad. I'm by and large against the arms trade in general. So if that's the argument for the arms trade, well, it creates jobs. Growing cocaine probably would create jobs as well. So yeah, sorry, creation of jobs to slaughter people in foreign nations, not something I'm good with. Canada, I think the U.S. is the biggest arms dealer in the world. It's not, I think they are, but Canada does it pretty good as well. I'm not for that in general, but the idea that it's going to create jobs at home. You know who's going to make money off of that? It'll create some jobs, and the military-industrial complex and military contractors are going to make money off of that. Congratulations. You know who's not going to see one lick of a benefit from the hundreds of millions that is going to a foreign country? North Carolinians, Georgians, Americans who are dying of fentanyl overdose, homeless veterans who are taking their lives at 7 times the rate of Americans, Americans who are taking their lives at exceedingly high rates because of the abject misery that has been rained down on them by this Biden-Harris administration. So don't give me it's going to create some jobs and bring some kiss off. But no, it's good. It's good. That's how they rationalize it to themselves. And now I think we are formally done on the hypocrisy. Right after this, we started with an idiot. We're going to end with an idiot.
So when it comes to criminalizing and not criminalizing crossing the border, I mean, that is just so stark. But you view that as an evolution.
Yeah. I mean, look. Here's my opinion. I'm not speaking for the campaign with this.
Yeah.
I thought their hearts were too big when Joe came into office, that they didn't know how many people would cross the border, and it got away from them. But they figured it out. They learned. And
he sounds like Potato Head.
Oh,
I'm freezing. Hold on. Oh, crap. Is my computer going to crash? Not knowing if you're seeing me right now.
together an executive order, and now the number of border crossings is down to where they were under Trump, maybe a little lower. She says she's going to sign the border bill, which is very clear where she stands now. But let me tell you, Aaron, the most important thing that has not been discussed, Donald Trump and Kamala both have said when it comes to illegals that are...
No, I'm still in. Hold on a second. Sorry. I think I'm gonna blame that on CNN. Let me bring this over here. First of all, everybody understand this and notice this. Keith Olbermann, Rachel Maddow. Now this guy, who's the other one that looks just this look? Rosie O'Donnell. Their problem was their hearts were too big. He sounds like Potato Head Brian Stetler the way he's talking right now. Am I wrong?
Said what he's going to do to deport anybody else.
Close your eyes.
So when it comes to criminalizing and not criminalizing crossing the border, I mean, that is just so stark, but you view that as an evolution.
Oh, by the way, this is the same Erin Burnett who was literally licking her lips and her fingertips, touching herself while interviewing Zelensky. Let's hear what and this is Mark Cuban, who has had the Democrat frontal lobotomy.
Yeah, I mean, look, here's my opinion. I'm not speaking for the campaign with this.
Yeah.
I thought their hearts were too big when Joe came into office, that they didn't.
He sounds like Brian Stetler, and he makes about as much sense as Brian Stetler. And you imagine his defense. They loved too much. They cared too much. They had no idea. Bull crap. They knew damn well how many people were going to come over the border. This idiot's trying to pretend it's not by design. You let in 15 million illegal immigrants. You then say it's too big of a problem to deport them. And at the end of that, by the way, he's an absolute idiot liar. Trump said he's going to deport them. It became such a problem where they're like, you can't deport 15 million people. How the hell did you let in too many people to deport? How did you let in too many illegal immigrants to deport in the first place? No, the problem is that nobody trusts the media, not that the media is lying. The problem is that you let in illegally too many people to actually deport now? And you want to blame the guy who wants to deport them as the problem? Holy hell. Oh, no, they had no idea. They knew. It's the destiny of demographics. They want to fast track now. The problem is too big to deport, so let's fast track to citizenship. And let's secure, as Elon Musk has been warning, to make a full circle in all of this. Let's usher in that one government. What is it? One party country. Once you ensure that there will be no longer any swing states, because I don't think it's an accident that a lot of these illegal immigrants are the ones who have been given. The illegals who have been given temporary protected status have been shipped off to cities within swing states. You think that's an accident? So turn it into a one-party country like Venezuela and see how that turns out. I don't know what they have on Mark Cuban, but they have something on Mark Cuban. Now, we are not done yet, people. So when I said we're going to come full circle and put a pin in the hypocrisy, we've done it. Why did I have so many? Oh, because I wanted to get the original clip of Elon Musk. But I actually, before we end, I just want to refresh everybody's memory. See, the problem is that nobody trusts the military, according to Chris Kaliza. No. The problem is that they are liars. We've caught them lying. Not only do they not deserve to be trusted, they deserve to be imprisoned for actual violation of First Amendment rights because they are government-ish. Although they're former, they're not current, and they deserve to be in jail for election interference. Period. Did we all read this? Public statement on the Hunter Biden emails. Don't worry, it's not 7 pages because it's 5 pages of names. I refreshed my memory because like we end up repeating the same, summary points, but we don't go back and revisit our memories of the details. Public statement on the Hunter Biden emails, October 19, 2020. We are all individuals who devoted significant portions of our lives to national security. Some of us served in senior positions in policy departments and agencies, and some of us served in senior positions in the intelligence community, the IC. Some of us were political appointees, and some were career officials. Many of us worked for presidents of both political parties. In other words, we are the deep state swamp. We are also individuals who see Russia as one of our nation's primary adversaries. All of us have an understanding of the wide range of Russian overt and covert activities that undermine U.S. national security, confession through projection, with some of us knowing Russian behavior intimately as we worked to defend our nation against it for a career. A few of us worked against Russian information operations in the United States in the last several years. Perhaps most important, each of us believes deeply that American citizens should determine the outcome of elections, not foreign governments. These are the people suppressing information, saying in their statements suppressing information that American citizens should determine the outcome of elections. What a bunch of scoundrelous criminals. All of us agree that the founding fathers' concerns about the damage that foreign interference in our politics can do to our democracy. All of us agree with the founding fathers' concern about the damage that foreign interference in our politics can do to our democracy. Intelligence folk, I'm just an idiot Canadian. I do believe they refer to enemies, foreign and domestic. I believe there was an and domestic to that part of it. And I believe you, sirs and madams, are that domestic enemy. It is for this reason that we write to say that the arrival on the U.S. political scene of emails purportedly belonging to Vice President Hunter Biden's son, Hunter, much of it related to his time serving on the board of the Ukrainian gas company Burisma, has the classic earmarks of a Russian information campaign. They knew it wasn't, but it's got the earmarks. We want to emphasize that we do not know if the emails provided by the New York Post to President Trump's personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani, are genuine. They knew that they were genuine. It was known that they were genuine at the time. Enemies, foreign and domestic. We don't know if they're genuine or not, and we do not have the evidence of Russia involvement, just that our experience makes us deeply suspicious that the Russian government played a significant role in this case. If we are right, this is Russia trying to influence how Americans vote in the election. And if you're wrong, it's you trying to influence how Americans vote in this election, you domestic enemies. We believe that the Americans need to be aware of this. There are a number of factors that make us suspicious of Russian involvement. Such an operation would be consistent with Russian objectives, as outlined policy recently by the intelligence community, to create political chaos in the United States and to deepen political divisions here, but also to undermine the candidacy of former Vice President Biden and thereby help the candidacy of Trump. For the Russians at this point, with Trump down in the polls, there is incentive for Moscow to pull out stops to do anything possible to help Trump win and or weaken Biden should he win. A, quote, laptop op, end quote, fits the bill, as the publication of the emails are clearly designed to discredit Biden. Such an operation would be consistent with some of the key methods. I don't care about this. Such an operation is also considered with key data points. Okay. Our view that the Russians are involved in the Hunter Biden email issue is consistent with 2 other significant factors as well. Remember, they said earlier, earmarks, we don't know if it's true, but their view is that Russia is involved. According to the Washington Post, a literal mockingbird media organization, citing 4 sources, U.S. intelligence agencies warned the White House last year that Giuliani was the target of an influence operation by Russian intelligence. In addition to media reports that the FBI has now opened an investigation into the Russian involvement in the case. Oh, the same FBI that falsified evidence and tried to frame Trump. It's unbelievable. According to USA Today, another mockingbird entity, Federal authorities are investigating whether material supplied to Giuliani is part of a smoke bomb of disinformation pushed by Russia. We do not know whether these press reports are accurate, but they do. This is the disinformation laundering in real time. Signed, I'll read the end. We do not know whether these press reports are accurate, but they do suggest concern within executive branch departments and agencies that mirrors ours. It is high time that Russia stops interfering in our democracy. Say the 51 intelligence officers who interfered in American democracies. Enemies, foreign and domestic. Signed by Jim Clapper. Mike, you got to look at this list every now and again. And whenever you hear an intelligence person talking in modern times, go see if their name is on this list. John Brennan, Thomas Finger, Legit, McLaughlin, Morrill. We don't need to go through this. I'm going to put together the list just to remind everybody. And there you have it, peeps. We are getting to Laura Loomer's lawsuit against hold on. What's his face? Come on, what my fat fingers, I can't go back here and bring up the chat over on Rumble because I see Biltong's in the house again and another chat. Can I bring it up? Crab apples. Can't bring it up. Hold on. I'll just have to read from here. Okay, we got Biltong in the house. Who says cancel? This is number 2 of 2. So let me start with Crash Bandit. Leftists want to use the Constitution as toilet paper. We saw that. And then we got Biltong in the house. We are running a meat challenge with a first prize of $600. Buy 2 pounds of Biltong over a 4-week period between now and December 4th, including Biltong in your diet, increasing your protein intake for 4 weeks. Okay, part 2. Post a weight pick on day 1 and again on day 28. And tag our pages on X, IG, Facebook. Use Fit24, BiltongUSA.com for auto enrollment and a 10% discount. Here's your chance to try a high protein diet. Biltong, get healthy, people. It's a good idea. Let me go over to vivabarneslaw.locals.com and see what's going on in the chat over here. We've got Kamala Harris in a tunnel. Hold on, I want to see. I think I got it. Does it involve a boar? Is the word here supposed to be a boar? You've heard of Elf on the Shelf. Now here's. I think it's supposed to be whore and a boar. If I'm not mistaken. What's that supposed to be? Let me know, chat, what we think the answer is to that question. Escape. That came from USA Now, king of the memes. If Russia really wanted to have an impact on our nation, I think it would be much more impactful and we'd probably appreciate it, says Boopsy. So someone said crap in a hole. No, someone said turd in a tube. No, I think it's a whore and a boar. If I had to guess. Okay. Let's see what the answers are. Oh, lordy, my leg. Give that dog some Biltong. R.O. Poppy. I would not give it to a dog because it has spices on it. And I do happen to know that Pudge got one of the spicy pieces. And I would say mildly instantaneous reactions. All right, peeps, let's get to Laura Loomer suing Bill Maher. The lawsuit will go strictly nowhere, but I don't think the lawsuit was filed to win. I think the lawsuit was filed to be heard. Okay, look, we don't need to. If she's going for defamation, hold on. Excuse me. She's picked a jurisdiction which I presume would be more favorable than California, for example. Sumter County, Florida. I don't know exactly where that is, but it's Florida. So better than California. And when it comes to defamation, Barnes and I talk about it. I wonder if they're going to seek for change of venue. I don't know to where Bill Maher is located, but certainly the statements were made to be heard everywhere. And they were certainly heard in the place where Laura Loomer lives. We'll skip past the jurisdiction, but bottom line, if you hadn't heard about it, Bill Maher, I think, made a joke, if we're going to call it that, that Laura Loomer was Donald Trump. Laura Loomer files this complaint against Bill Maher, HBO, and others, defamation per se, defamation by implication, jurisdiction and venue, yada, yada, yada. Okay, fine. I wanted to say something here. Yes, we're going to read Laura Loomer's description paragraphs here. Loomer is an individual citizen that is a resident of Florida. Yep. She ran for Congress in Florida, has strong roots, and is a well-known and respected figure in this judicial circuit, where her hard-earned reputation has been significantly damaged as set forth herein. Loomer originally ran for U.S. Congress in Florida's 11th district, which included Sumter County. Oh, interesting. I can this okay. Maybe I'll say it's not 100% that this gets tossed. Maybe 90%. Defendant Maher is a piece of crap. Oh no, sorry, she didn't allege that. He's a moron. No, she didn't say that either. He's an individual resident of California. He has a show, yada yada. Standing. Okay, fine. We can skip by this. The facts. Loomer's a well-known conservative investigative journalist. Loomer is conservative, Republican, Jewish female activist. Loomer has worked for Canadian News, The Rebel News, Project Veritas. Loomer has her own media company, Illuminate. You see what there's a Loomer in there? Media, which operates in this circuit. Loomer is a Republican candidate. Okay, we got that. Defendants broadcasted false, malicious, defamatory statements. And then the problem is, let's read the statement. The defamatory statements on September 13, 2024, episode of his Bill Maher, whatever the hell is, real time. Okay? Nationally, internationally, defendant Maher. By the way, you know in Hebrew, Maher means fast. Maher. But he goes by Maher, whatever the hell is that. Okay. He made the statement, it's false, malicious, defamatory concerning Loomer. I think maybe Laura Loomer's in an arranged relationship to affect the election because she's very close to Trump. She's 31, looks like his type. We did an editorial here a few years ago. It was basically, who's Trump fucking? Because I said, it's not nobody. He's been a dog for too long, and it's not Melania. I think we may have our answer this week. I think it might be Laura Loomer. Okay, so in this statement, because the rest is going to be arguments, and then, it's reiterating the allegations against all of the defendants. Defender makes its false statement that Ms. Loomer is in a sexual relationship with Donald Trump, who is a married man. Thus, defendant Maher has thus falsely and maliciously accused Ms. Loomer of having committed adultery with Donald Trump. Now, I actually, not for nothing, looked this word up the other day because I was going to use it in respect of Kamala Harris. I don't think adultery, I don't think adultery refers to the unmarried person who has sex with the married person. I think the adultery is committed by the married person, and by the unmarried person, I think they call them a paramour is what I believe the term is. Not an adulterer, a paramour. So don't call Kamala Harris an adulterer. That you have to save for Doug Emhoff. You would have to call Kamala Harris a paramour of the adulterer, Willie Brown. Anyhow, so the bottom line, people, it goes on. A statement is objectively this is a statement of objectively verifiable fact, which I disagree with concerning Ms. Loomer. He poses the question, who's Trump fucking? And then he says, we may have our answer. I think may is an operative word for this being opinion and reasonably understood by any viewer as defendant making a factual statement of objectively verifiable fact of and concerning Loomer. And I say this with no shade to Loomer because she's done some good work. I think she's been her own worst enemy from time to time. Dude, I listened to that. First of all, I think it's a joke. Second of all, I think it's clearly opinion because he says, I think repeatedly. I think it might be Laura Loomer. We may have our answer is subjective and definitionally not a statement of fact. And the other question would be made with actual malice because Laura Loomer is objectively a public figure, and the statement would have to have been made with actual malice, which it probably was, but the joke was made with actual malice. But I think at the end of the day, it's just a joke. Plaintiff Laura, okay, so here you go down these statements, and then they repeat the same thing over and over again. And that's it. Defamation, and then we go into defamation by implication is recognized under Florida law. It also works in reverse to impose liability upon the defendant who has the details right, but the gist wrong. I'll go out on a limb if I had to bet, and I would not give anyone 50-50 odds on this. This lawsuit goes nowhere. But I think what Laura Loomer is doing is trying to put on blast, on the one hand, her credentials, her role in politics, and on the other hand, the fact that Bill Maher is an asshole. I mean, there's no other way to describe him. He's not just a mean-spirited person. He's also an ill-informed, which is a very bad combination. Sitting around talking about inflation not being so bad, that we beat COVID, and they've been good. And then Trump is public enemy number one. I mean, the guy's an idiot. Well, what was it? He had someone on and he did not know something that was like 101 for anyone who's in the sphere. I'm going to go to our locals community for this. What did Bill Maher not know? He did an interview with, it was the fitness woman. And yeah, I got the "it was staged" funny thing. Anyways, I forget what it was, but Londo says no, it's real. It was a Mar-a-Lago, a premiere of a film. Hold on, do I see a picture up there of me? I am not tall, people. For anyone who says, "Oh, there I am," okay, yeah, hold on, there, that is me. I met Laura Loomer. My goodness, I should put that suit back on. This is me. I met Laura at the was it Dinesh D'Souza? I think it was Dinesh D'Souza's police state, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, she's like, I've got nothing against Laura. She certainly tweets things that I wouldn't tweet. She's been her own worst enemy when it comes to certain stories, getting certain facts wrong. And I think, by and large, some behavior, which might be attention-getting behavior, is not necessarily the type of attention that you want. But she's done some great work exposing great things. The only problem is, given the 3 distinct, factually wrong stories that she got, I have to make sure that I verify it independently before I share. But she did some great work exposing Engeron. I believe she was integral in the alumni page that he was managing. She does great work, but sometimes it's her own worst enemy. All right. But yeah, I did meet her, and I'm not tall, people. I'm 5'5.5" without my shoes on. I'm 5'6" with shoes on. And when I put my Trump shoes on, which I never have, that gives me an easy another 1.5 inches. So I'm 5'6.5" with a good pair of shoes. 5'6", 158, 8.5% body fat, give or take. It varies between 8 and 10, assuming the machine is accurate, which I think it is. No Jabber says you look like you're in an 80s band with Elvis Costello in that picture. So there's another film premiere at Mar-a-Lago that I'm fortunate enough to have gotten in to attend. Line in the Sand, James O'Keefe. So I'll be at Mar-a-Lago for the premiere of that event. Bill Maher shamed a 31-year-old conservative woman on national TV. Laura will win this defamation case. Mayano, if you give me 50-50, I'll bet you every day of the week. I'll take even odds if anybody's foolish enough to give them to me. Oh, and Landshark 503 says with a 10-foot tall braid. Stop it. You're making me blush. InJam77 says, if Chuck Schumer truly believes Trump was an existential threat, why did he not stab him in the neck? Stop it. Bongino was right, by the way. The body language when Trump manhandles Schumer like a little bitch that he is, and he's like, "Come on, Chuck, he's so glum, he's so glum." That's what a dad does to his son. That's what a big boy does to a little boy, and that's what Trump did to Chuck Schumer, who's sitting there gritting his teeth. It reveals one of two things, and it's a good point. The point is well taken. I won't go on the violent element of that. They either hate Trump as much as they say they do. They either genuinely believe that he's the existential threat that he is, in which case you don't sit there smiling like a shit-eating child at a dinner, or they don't believe it, which makes them a bunch of amoral, principleless people, which I think is more likely the case. They don't believe a damn word they say about Trump, but they say it for the political profit that they know that it brings, that they know that they need. Which makes them, amoral. But I think like when you're dealing with a very godless people, that it's very easy to be unprincipled without principles, principleless, when you don't believe that there's something greater than you out there, to which you have to be not loyal, but to which you have to, live by certain standards. And I do believe they're fundamentally godless and evil people, but that's a second thing. Okay. And now let's see what's going back on in our vivabarneslaw.locals.com community. Oh, Robert Barnes is on what are the is Barnes on with what are the odds at 2:00? If he is, I'm going to end. Ooh, not reading that joke. Sting 17. Let's see what we got here. See new post. Okay, that's all. I'll get to that in a bit. Everybody, let me make sure that I didn't miss any super chats over on CommieTube. Be sure to like, share, subscribe. Make sure you have your notifications turned on. Scrolling up through the chat here on CommieTube, which is moving relatively fast. Okay, we're gonna go over our after party at vivabarneslaw.locals.com. Everybody, thank you for being here. Stay tuned. I'll have a video out this afternoon. What else? It's Tuesday, so Wednesday, I believe I'll be doing an Unusual Suspects tomorrow and the movie premiere at Mar-a-Lago. So I'll stay tuned for some fun videos. And Thursday, I'll be live. Friday, I'll be live. And Locals, I will see you afterwards. So coming over to Locals for the Viva Barnes Law. No, not the Viva. For the Viva barneslaw.locals.com after party. And everyone else, thank you for being here. See you later. Viva Fry on Twitter, Viva Fry for merch, and that is it. It takes 30 seconds.